Alright, look, tingle heads. I was in a meeting last week. It was something of a casual meeting, or rather, a casual point during that meeting that had bouts of being more and then less formal, as these things go. Sometimes coworkers during these meets can get really personal. Talk about over the backyard fence fights with neighbors and stuff. And can get really, really far away from work-related topics. But Clark, not his real name, Clark usually lets these things go and go, and they most often wind down on their own. Sort of gives people more rope and more freedom. People feel more relaxed. And so a direct benefit for the company because of such freedom is people talk more rather than less. Which is good and bad. But whatever. Anyway, so during that meeting, during one of our lulls, the guy taking minutes was changing the tape. So it was pretty much a free-for-all. Right then, I answered that we were in the middle, or, well, we were somewhere in the midst of the Second Great Depression. And like everybody laughed, they thought I was joking. That gets me. Often when I'm trying to be funny or hoping to get people to crack a smile, nobody laughs. But then when I'm being serious, they laugh. I just wonder, is it me? Am I that out of touch? Am I that obtuse? Or is this one of those things where, because I assiduously avoid commercials and advertisements and notices and stuff being on sale, and because I don't own a TV, is that the source of me being so laughably out of touch? Do these coworkers know something that I don't know? And they know it because they have been dutifully watching their TVs, and that's been a theme lately. And ubiquitous theme on TV that I haven't heard of. The theme that only goofballs, only nut jobs. And here comes a Jeff Galooly Depressions. Only Looney Tunes think that this is another Great Depression. Is that it, or what? What am I missing? Suicide hasn't been this high since the Great Depression. Unemployment among those in big cities, if you count those who have quit looking for work and don't have a job, is almost as high as the worst it ever was during the Great Depression. Wages and real take-home pay for workers making less than $50,000 a year have been steadily dropping since the internet bubble burst in 2000. And the housing crisis of 2008 just made things worse. For most, but not for all. Prices of consumer goods have been steadily going up and up. Except for gasoline, which seems to go up and down and up and down. It's all over the place. But because there's no deflation like there was during the Great Depression, does that mean then that what's going on now economically isn't or can't be considered a capital D depression? And another thing, does anybody else see what is going on? Go from a few years ago, include now, and then project into the future. Use your binoculars. Look over there into the future. Like 30 or 40 years. I'm talking long-term projection or analysis here. You can do it. Okay, so am I the only one who sees that we're obviously in a way, and or that we're embroiled within the conditions that would harken back to a time when we went around building dams and freeways? The economic times somewhat match up. Or match up enough, don't they? You know, the 30s to now. What I'm asking here is, where's today's version of the CCC when we could use it? I remember numerous reports in the last decade alluding to the deterioration of a huge percentage of our bridges. Something like way over 80%. Our roads and interstate highways could use some rebuilding, eh? Roads and dams and bridges all could use some help. Our infrastructure's going to crap, my fellow Americans. Cities like Detroit and Camden, New Jersey are being run into the ground. And there's actually trillions of dollars available, readily available. Trillions that can get this economy jump-started. But where are our leaders? Have our leaders all been bought off by heads of corporations? And these corporations are transnational and are just running our United States into the ground. That this is gravy time for these fat cats what it's doing to the average American. Somebody or some somebodies are squeezing out the last few drops of value out of these United States. And I won't even say that these transnationals are the ones doing it, are the ones destroying my homeland. Maybe they're destroying your homeland too. No, I won't say that. But what I will say is that we're obviously being run into the ground, and certain corporate heads, certain corporate boards of directors have and wield the most power around these parts. So they can stop this running into the ground of these, our beloved United States, if they wanted to. And they verifiably, visibly, blatantly don't want to. Don't give a hoot. And after this fine nation has been completely used up, then these transnationals will just finish yanking them up, just finish uprooting what few roots they still have here, and completely transplant themselves elsewhere.